All right, we are holding by Sif Vav, chapter 6. So the Rebbe continues to explain in the Mimer the difference between the letter Dalid and the letter Yud, the letter Resh, in their appearance. What would the picture, the actual letter Dalid and the letter Resh? What's the only difference? They look very similar, except for the fact that the letter Dalid has an extra Yud, so to speak, hanging off the back end of it. And this Yud, what does this Yud represent? What does it teach us? What does it show on? The Yud represents the idea of the complete bittul of the level of Malchus. That through this, that Malchus is bittul, that enables it to become a vessel to receive, a Kli Kabbalah. As our sages teach us, that an empty vessel can receive, you can put something in it, and a full vessel, obviously, you cannot put something into it. So too, a makabel, that which receives, like Malchus, in order for it to receive, is specifically when it's bottled, when it's nullified, when it does not feel of itself as an existence. And so too, just like this is with Malchus, so this is in receiving beneficence from a Rav. When the teacher comes to give over an idea, same thing with the teacher and the student, that how does the student get is specifically when he does not feel of himself as a yesh, as a feeling of existence, but specifically when he's bottled, when he's nullified. The Rebbe in Sivav explains this concept at length. The idea of a Rav and a Talmud, a teacher and a student. So first of all, he explains that when we're talking about a teacher and a student in Chassidus, we're not talking about your average teacher and student, that the teacher and the student, even though the teacher knows more and the student knows less, but they are relatively in the same level. No, we're talking about a teacher and a student who are not relatively at all close to each other. It's a great Talmud Chacham, a great scientist and great intellectual. And the student is a very simple student. And yet he's now going to give over this idea, this intellectual idea. In order for that to happen, the student has to completely nullify himself. What does that mean? It's not just enough that he said, I'm going to put myself on the side. He has to be able to completely empty himself out of any other interfering thoughts. Now, not in a way that he's so nullified that he doesn't hear what the teacher is saying. He has to hear what the teacher is saying. However, more than that, he cannot be. The Rebbe clarifies. Now, what does that mean? That even when he's hearing the teacher, he already cannot start to process what the teacher is saying. That would be contradictory to him receiving. It would be a contradiction to the bittul. If he's already starting to process, it means that he's not being able to truly take in all the words that the Rav is saying. Number one. Number two, the Rebbe says that it has to be so bittul that even the excitement that the student is excited that he has the opportunity to hear from this great teacher, this is also a problem. Because that excitement, this that he has a desire to want to hear, to learn from this teacher, also interrupts the process, its feelings of self that are not conducive to him being able to take in the intellect. Again, it has to be complete bittul, complete nullification. And anything that's not that, even if it's good things, whether it's processing the seichel, whether it's the excitement that he's trying to, appreciate the Rav, all of those things are contradictory to the bittul that's necessary to receive. Now, so too, in regards to the teacher, that being that he is really not on the same level at all as the student, in order for him to go now and give over this idea, this is a great descent for him. And so therefore he has to contract himself. He has to contract the entire idea. And now to give it over to the Talmud, and this requires great effort. And how does he even have the ability to do this? That comes from the fact that he sees that the student really wants it a lot. And now he's going to go about and do this, and to the extent that this process of the Rav having to contract himself and now give over, reveals new ideas in the Rav himself. And without this bittul, would not be possible. You should have the Rav and the Talmud should be able to find any common ground. However, when there is this bittul, so then we see clearly that the Talmud is standing there, and he's receiving from the Rav, and he's able to take it and then, in fact, even expound upon it later. But only when does this work? Only when there is complete bittul, when we have the empty vessel. And so too, with the same thing with Malchus, which we spoke about before, that it has nothing from itself. Specifically, Malchus is the sphere that is able to give over to everything else because it feels of itself as nothing, and therefore is able to take from all of the other spheres and give over to the next worlds. Thank you very much.